wonderful weather from Lagos, Nigeria. And welcome everyone from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbale. The governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, is asking leaders in the Southeast region to speak up against the insecurity in the region. The governor met with President Buhari today at the presidential villa. And after that meeting, and these are some of his thoughts on the situation of things.
At a time like this in Nigeria, anybody watching his onions as a leader should be able to speak out. How many of them are speaking out? How many of them are condemning what is going on? Rather, what you see, leaders fanning the ember of insecurity, blaming only government. We must be tired of this blame thing by now, and then contribute our own quota towards ensuring that national security is not further threatened in the country. We should all get involved. In Imo State, as I speak to you, only me cannot restore security. Only me cannot guarantee security. I have to work with traditional rulers. I have to work with opinion leaders. I have to work with the youth leaders to be able to deploy a community kind of security program.
Well, before we get into some other issues relating with security, let's tell you that tonight our attention is on the Mao drama, which happened today at the House of Representatives. We get talking about that tonight on the program. But before we get into today's conversation, let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
President Buhari today convened an emergency meeting of the National Security Council at the State House in Abuja. The meeting was also attended by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief of Staff to the President, and several ministers. The North Central People's Forum, NCPF, is demanding that the presidency of Nigeria in 2023 be zoned to the region. According to the forum, the North Central has been marginalized for long and has not produced an elected president or a vice president since the return to democracy in 1999.
The Yoruba are asking for president. We were asking for president. The Northeast are asking for president. The Igbos are asking for president. But look at what happened within the Nigeria context today. It is only the North Central that have never produced the vice president, or they have never produced president elected.
A former presidential candidate of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, Professor Kingsley Moghalu, is asking the federal government to immediately set up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission and also declare May 30th of every year a national holiday to honor all those who died during the Nigeria Civil War. Professor Moghalu, who attributed the rise in insecurity to injustice and leadership failure, insists the proposed commission will primarily reconcile Nigerians who one way or another became victims of the 1966 military coup and the civil war that followed.
The root cause of these separatist agitations is injustice. An unwillingness to recognize this fact leads to the avoidance and convenient distortions of history. President Muhammadu Buhari established May 30 as a national holiday to remember the millions that died in the Nigerian Civil War.
Members of the Yoruba Appraisal Forum have staged a peaceful protest in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, to dispel calls for the disintegration of the country along ethnic lines. The group are calling for constructive dialogue to address the current socio-political and economic challenges facing the country, however voiced against war and violence as being demonstrated in many parts of the country.
Let's tell you some more security stories coming from the National Assembly, this time from the Senate. The Senate whip, Senator Uzo Kalu, says people of the Southeast region are not known for the kind of violence seen in the region, and he has described it as strange. The Chief Whip also reaffirmed his call for a national dialogue to be chaired by the President. He noted that the need for a national dialogue is imminent to douse tensions in the country. He also gave his views of the suspension of Twitter use in Nigeria. Take a listen to the snippet on that interview.
Southeast. We have been in this kind of thing in the northeast for many years. Nobody shouting like they are just saying if Southeast is something else. No, it's not true. Nobody supports anybody to burn anything. I can never, because I'm a product of Nigeria. And if I'm a product of Nigeria, I should be seen as a Nigerian. We have done everything to show our love for this country. We need to be supported. Not everybody is calling Southeasterners or Igbos all kinds of names. It's unacceptable to me.
So let's get a seat. It's a cold weather in Lagos, so you might want to get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea so you can get a sense of what we're going to talk about tonight. It is not every time you see some kind of disruption, some kind of disagreement. There's debate, and well, the plenary in the National Assembly is made for debate. So sometimes you see some people get agitated and some people walk out. So there was a mild drama in the House of Representatives earlier today as some lawmakers from the People's Democratic Party staged a walkout after its caucus leader, Kingsley Chinda, was ruled out of order by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila. Mr. Chinda had prayed the House to urge the federal government to defer the suspension of Twitter while the chamber conducts its investigation into the circumstances that led to this action by government and its legality as earlier directed by the Speaker. The committee is to invite the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, to give details. The PDP lawmakers were heard insisting that they would continue with their threat to go to court over the matter. So, for a moment, let me allow you to listen to what really happened, just a bit of what happened, so you can get a sense of what our conversation is going to be about tonight. Take a listen to Honorable Chinda before the walkout.
We should urge the executive arm. In the interim, I use the word urge the executive arm. In the interim, to reverse this order, pending the outcome of our interaction with the executive arm.
Thank you, Honorable Chinda.
Yes, sir.
Let me very quickly, so that we can move along, refer you to Order 9, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 6 of our rules. It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session. You're ruled out of order.
Mr. Speaker,
please, Chinda, please be guided.
The Speaker has already ruled on it. Please resume your seat. You know the rules better. You know how to come back. You know the rules better. If you are so passionate about it, you know how to come back.
What? Mr. Speaker, in the circumstance, for PDP members, we have agreed we'll continue.
The next order of the day.
Please, Chinda, please, you are a ranking member.
Is the first reading.
We'll continue to tweet.
Please,
we are with Nigerians, and if the Attorney General wants to...
If you want to go. Go.
Where is it here?
You can see them. The disappointment, the disagreement of opinions and ideas there, and the eventual walkout by some of those lawmakers. Well, the Speaker mentioned the fact that some remain, but we'll get to that in a moment. So let's get a sense of what is happening. Why are the lawmakers staging a walkout over this Twitter matter? What exactly are they driving at? Let's get perspectives to it. Tonight I'm being joined by the members of the House of Representatives at the sitting today. Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, a PDP member from Kogi State, and Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, an APC lawmaker from Plateau State. Thank you so much, honorable members, for joining us tonight. So Nigerians can get a sense of what is happening, what led to the walkout, what exactly the lawmakers are talking about. Let me begin with you, Honorable Yusuf. Give us a sense of what angered you and your colleagues to stage that walkout today.
Thank you, Sheung and our viewers. It's simple. If you listen, Honorable Chinda said, we adopt all that the Speaker said and we are in agreement with him. However, that we should urge the federal government to please rescind the decision
to suspend Twitter pending the outcome. What are the reasons why we feel it should be rescinded for now? One, there are over 1,000 of Nigerian youth who cannot get a job who depend on Twitter for their daily livelihood. As of 3 days ago, it was estimated that we lose youths who do business on Twitter lose an average of 90 billion a day. The speaker knows very well, he's a seasoned parliamentarian. He knows that what happened was the leadership through him reading to us an address and the position they have canvassed. It wasn't a matter that was put to question. So that 9 does not come to play. It wasn't put to question. He addressed us and decision to be taken. It's a proactive decision. Leadership felt that they should not allow it come to the floor. What have you? So they took that decision. So privilege that under which that comes from does not stop. And information that was relayed from us does not bar you from privilege. So this agreement is not allow you. Like, okay, I've heard you. Okay, we'll put the question. Okay, I'm not putting the question. We are not putting that prayer. But to now come that a matter that had been decided on, we did not put it to voting. What you saw was leadership took initiative, addressed us, and we are not in any way opposed to it. However, I think the challenge is why we feel we should work out is the beauty of democracy, and those who crafted the Constitution and come about democratic governance, is to have a parliament where opinions are canvassed for and against. And I'm happy the speaker enjoyed that tremendously before he became speaker. He was in ACN, became APC member, and at every point in time, he had reason to rise up and express contrary opinion to the majority. That does not mean you will win the argument, but you will be heard. That's the beauty of democracy. So we work out because we felt we're not giving our opportunity to air our view. And what we did was go to the press and say, this is our position. We're saying, hey, their procedure, let me put it there.
All right.
Their procedure to get Twitter to ban or to lift or to delete your message.
All right.
Complain.
Okay. So, Honorable.
Let me finish on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I want we'll get to the meat. We'll get to the meat of the debate just in a while. We're still touching on why you walked out. Let me allow Honorable Yusuf Gadi quickly before we go on our first break to give us a sense of whether he agree with you, because you are trying to tell us that the presiding officer there erred in that regard by not allowing you to continue in that debate. Honorable Gadi, what's your view on what your colleague said?
My view is very simple. I am in total disagreement with what my leader and my brother, Honorable Tajuddin, said. Why are you disagreeing with the position of Speaker, and why are they disagreeing with Subsection 9, subsection 1(6), where the rules of the House clearly spell out that a decision arrived at is uncontestable until otherwise it is decided? So at this plenary, Speaker reserved the right in different instances to read communication from Mr. President, and it automatically becomes the first reading. He has the power to come in a national situation like this to make statement that is in agreement with the people of Nigeria, where he said to Nigerians, because of the concern the National Assembly have, Mr. Speaker came, give speech, and refer his speech to 4 different committees of the House, not supporting federal government, but saying that those committees should dip into the matter and report back to the House. And remember, Honorable Tajuddin said they adopted what Mr. Speaker said. So if you had adopted the position of the Speaker, including referring the matter to the 4 different committees of the House, on what reason would you want to be heard again? Mr. Speaker have come to say that this thing is not right. We don't need to preempt either the federal government or Twitter. We have our relevant committees that should go and deep-rootedly investigate those matters and give a speech on behalf of the House and say, please, this committee hasten up and give us report so that Nigerians can either enjoy Twitter for us to know the reason behind federal government doing that, and Chida, the factional leader of PDP. Factional in the sense that if you look at those that went out, it's not all the PDP members that went out. Elimelu was not there, but I consider Elimelu as the caucus leader of the PDP. Now, Chinda being the factional leader of the PDP, count from your script, let 6 other members out of the floor. More than 10 members of the PDP were on the floor. So in the first instance, Twitter matter shouldn't be it shouldn't be a party thing. It should be a Nigerian thing. So if they have agreed with the position of the speaker, Chida stood up and adopted the position of the speaker. Why are you walking out?
We take a breather, but when we come back, some of the debates, the disagreement you had, we go into the meat of the Twitter argument you had, why Twitter is important, the issue of democracy and the civil space in Nigeria. Those arguments we'll bring in right here when we come back from the break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. It's perhaps one thing that you also have been discussing in your offices, at home, with your friends, and whether with your families across the sea and across the globe. Well, people talking about it, what government has done, whether or not it is right or wrong, well, that is what the government has said. So the National Assembly are also discussing it, especially the House of Representatives, and that gets us talking. When some members of the House of Reps took a walkout today. So Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf and Honorable Yusuf Gagdi are members of the House of Reps and are talking to us there across the divide. Thank you so much. Let me get back to you, Honorable Yusuf. What some of your colleagues in the PDP, in the opposition, are asking on the floor today is that the federal government, one, you've asked that Mr. Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, should come and face the House of Representatives and give reasons for the suspension. You're also praying that they should hold on the suspension pending the investigation. Is that true? And you feel that this is not going to come back, and that's what led to the walkout. And well, there's something that the speaker said. I'd like you to listen to it.
For PDP members, we have agreed with
the next order of the day.
Please, Chinda, please, you are a ranking member.
Is the first reading.
We continue to tweet.
Please,
we are with Nigerians. And if the Attorney General wants to...
At first, I thought it was a partisan move, but I'm so glad, and I'm happy to see several members of the opposition still here in chambers with us, and I commend you for your non-partisanship.
So he said, it's just a few of your colleagues that are left. What's your reaction to those questions?
It's the beauty of democracy. That's democracy for you. You can't have everybody on the same line. When he was minority leader, he had some worked out. Not every member of APC went out. I remember in 2014, on benchmark, after we had agreed on benchmark with Okonjo Iweala, they came back to the House, led by the Honorable Speaker's minority leader, to stage a walkout and contrary view. Not everybody walked out. I remember very well. So it's not anything strange. But let me deal with certain issues very clearly. Well, first of all, Honorable Chinda is not contestable. He is the PDP caucus leader. Elumelu is the minority leader. It's not a contention. Two, that we adopted what he does not, we don't have a right to add to the prayer. What we are saying is that it is good leadership if sat down, you come out to position, but I represent the constituency. I have an opinion I want to canvass. That is the beauty of democracy. If you don't conform, if you don't like it, put to question, if you put it out and it's not supported, that is it. But the idea of coerce and trying to stop me from making my view, Mr. Speaker, understand very well that this is how robust Parliament is. And what I'm saying, I still insist that Order 9.1 does not talk about information or address by the Speaker. It talks about a matter that will be put to question. And let's even, without conceding, let's agree that we put to question. Privilege give you right when you come under privilege to unearth anything until you are heard. No, that thing will be discussed. And Chinda came under privilege. I mean, by the, I want to make something very clear that while we are doing this is for the president and the executive to understand the feelings of Nigerians. I just told us earlier here, there are 1,000 over a million people who depend on it for transaction. The fact that you have an issue with them that can be sorted out. When people talk about this insecurity, that's why they banned Twitter until the president's tweet was brought down. You never talked about the insecurity. You never complained. There are procedures. Get people to do their job. If Nnamdi Kanu or anybody is using Twitter in a manner that could threaten our security, complain to Twitter. If they fail to bring it down, then we'll take on them. Until the president's tweet was brought down, I stand to be corrected. That tweet was in bad taste. Those who did that tweet for the president were not in any way representing the man. I think we should differentiate these things and put it in perspective. After the president's tweet was brought down, people now complain about Nnamdi Kanu tweet. It was brought down. There are procedure. And the people begin to benchmark us with North Korea and what have you that happened there. No, sir. And come to think of a government that came into power using the social media, using Twitter. If I bring on earth what was tweeted in 2014, you know that nothing has happened. I am not in any way sitting here supporting people using those handles, or Twitter handle, to cause insecurity and threaten the peace of this nation. Not at all. But there are procedures. Must be seen as government of the rules, by the rule, that governed by the rule. And what we're saying purely today is urge, change the word. On a chamber deliberately, use that word twice. I say urge. Urge, you are not commanding. Urge, let it be on record that we say, for the sake of the innocent, who are not part of this crossfire, who live on this, hey, we are talking of insecurity. A hungry man, it naturally becomes the devil's workshop. Those who have been living on this social media to feel, what do they do in this period? Don't forget, COVID kept us home for like more than half of last year. We are just coming back. So sincerely, we must put this in perspective.
Okay, all right. So let me allow Honorable Gagdi to respond to what you said. Honorable Gagdi, what is your response on that? Because I saw you nodding in disagreement.
Well, my response is straight to the point. I am a student that doesn't go out of the question that you asked me, and I will go strictly based on what he said. But let me clarify two things. One, I'm not going to dip into who is right and wrong on the suspension of Twitter activities in Nigeria. Two, I'm only going to justify reasons of Speaker's intervention, his position, which is the position of the House, and the ruling emphasizing on Section 9, Sub 1(6) of our House rule. Now, you brought a matter. Nobody should give an impression that Speaker is an autocratic leader. When the matter was brought in the first instance, if the privilege raised by Honorable Chida was not sustained in the first instance, he wouldn't have come up with that position on the floor of the House. When he raised a point of order, Speaker allowed him to ventilate, to say his opinion. In saying his opinion, mark my words, Chida confirmed with the position of Mr. Speaker and now ask that another clause should be a rider to the position of the Speaker. It means this is a total acceptance that position of Mr. Speaker was in line with the House rule. So no need of saying it needs to be put to question or what have you. Their actions speak volume. That position of this Mr. Speaker was in line with parliamentary procedures. That is one. Secondly, having accepted, you want something to be introduced. Speaker, being someone that knows the four angles of our House rule, quickly intervene after the matter of privileges was raised by Chida and make reference to Section 9, subsection 1, sub 6, telling him that we have resolved this matter. We have referred this matter to committees. Why do you want decision of suspending Twitter to be suspended? We are trying to join the gun by preempting the outcome of the committee in the first instance. If their amendment had been that, one, Twitter deleted comment of Mr. President. What is good for the good is equally good for the gander. Ask Twitter to return the statement first and ask the government to uplift the suspension. But you are not calling on the statement that was deleted, which in my opinion, I have my personal view about it, and it's not a good forum for me to say whether the decision of government is right or wrong. If you want an addition, the two actions ought to have been suspended, not the action of Mr. President banning or suspending Twitter activities in Nigeria and allowing the deletion of the position of Mr. President. So these are the things. One, Mr. Speaker was right, the position was, and there is something that happened after they left. I equally brought up a matter of privilege against a publication by Honorable, one of the members from Benue, that they will hold the House to ransom, they will grant the House if their opinion was not sustained, was blocked by Mr. Speaker and other members.
All right, Honorable
So
Gagdi, because
look at
you're out
their
of
moving
time.
out of the look at their moving
Yeah.
out of the chamber, and that publication is a planned thing to frustrate. Why are you even working out? We are not working out on the killings in the 4 angles of Nigeria, in Lagos, in Imo, in
All right, Honorable Gagdi,
Plateau,
we're out of time.
in Borno.
Let's wrap
need
up the
to be
conversation now.
sensitive about what we
All right.
walk out of.
All
not
right,
on Twitter and
let's wrap up now. So we just have 20 seconds each for our final thought. I understand that you are going to court. Just in 20 seconds, where are you going from here, Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf? Just in 20 seconds for your final thought.
Just like we went to court on the NCC attempt to coerce the press, we're still in court. We tend to go to court because democracy stands on fundamental rights. When you cannot express yourself, when you are coerced, and that is very easy sign of dictatorship. If we will go to court on with our lawyers to challenge that position that the president took. And I want to correct something here. We're interested in this matter because youth who cannot find job.
All right.
The situation is so bad. The Twitter becomes an avenue, one of the avenues to which they disseminate and sell their products.
All right,
take
20 seconds is
That's
over.
why we worked.
Honorable, Honorable Gagdi, 20 seconds, please. Just stay within the limit of 20 seconds so that we can
Thank
close.
you. I'm not even saying that the suspension of the Twitter was right. But I want to advise them. We are parliamentarians elected by Nigerian people. And the primary responsibility of every parliament is to make law for order, peace, and good governance. Our priority now as members representing Nigerians is the killing on daily basis that is being meted in the 4 angles of Nigeria. On that, if the president, I have rules on the floor of the House to condemn some of the policies of government. We shouldn't make Nigerians like they don't know what they are doing by walking out on Twitter suspension. We should walk out on the policies of government against insecurity that is not helping matters.
Not allowed to debate
but when you walk out,
we need to go now. We are totally out of time, and we've crossed our limit for the program tonight. Thank you so much, Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf and Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, for your time. And that's how we leave it tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. Bye-bye.